Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreality to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees, today we are having the third lecture on Practical Vedanta series. And today, as you all know, today is an interesting topic on Practical Vedanta. Who is an atheist? Who is an atheist? Generally, we all know that, whoever doesn't belong, whoever doesn't believe in God, whoever doesn't believe in the Almighty, whoever doesn't believe in the personal God, is an atheist. The Sanskrit word for atheist is a Nastika. That's what even the Semitic religion says, and even in Hinduism also says that. Generally, this is what a definition. So, a person who believes in the existence of God is called theist, and a person who doesn't believe in the God, in the existence of God, he is an atheist. Now, Swami Vivekananda has given a wonderful and very unique definition of this atheist. He says, who is an atheist? According to me, or according to the Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic philosophy. As, quote, as certain religions of the world say that a man who does not believe in a personal God outside of himself as an atheist. So the Vedanta says a man who does not believe in himself is an atheist. Not believing in the glory of oneself or the soul is what the Vedanta calls atheism. What a beautiful and what a universal and what a grand idea, which is very rational, scientific, psychological, all aspects we can say. A person who does not believe in himself, who does not believe that he, as a spirit, as a soul, as a consciousness, or Atman, is an atheist. So, one who believes in the self, one who believes in oneself, one who believes that is not the body and mind, is the self, is a theist. Now, if you study the classical philosophy, mainly based on the belief or the faith, it is categorized on three divisions. One is theist, atheist, or agnostic. Who is theist? So traditionally religion say one who believes in God is called theist, one who doesn't believe in God is atheist, and one who is not very sure about it. He has got his own doubt. He cannot say completely that God doesn't exist. And at the same time, he's not able to brush aside that God exists or God doesn't exist. So he has got a benefit of doubt about the existence of the God. So he is called agnostic. And there's a very interesting story. Way back, so once a rich man, he was quite rich, but he was a great ardent devotee of the Lord. He used to believe in Almighty, and he used to regularly pray and regularly sing hymns and praise glories of Lord and all. So once he arranged big food party where anyone can come and have the food, and very delicious food, and a lot of menus were there, and quite a few people had come and they were taking the food. The only one rule or the one condition is that you can come and have the food how much ever you want. It is free, no cost, no price, but you have to do prayer. Whatever the prayer he says, or whatever, maybe according to your own religion, fine. So you have to do sincerely prayer, and then you should take the food. You should start eating the food. Most of the people are, I mean, whoever came on that day, they didn't have any problem. They, whatever he said, or whatever it was printed as a pamphlet, they did that pray and they enjoyed the delicious meal. Or some others, they said, look, we have got our own religion or we belong to some faith, and based on our faith, we have a different prayers. And he said, fine, you can call God in different names, in different ways. You can do prayers according to your faith or religion. Then they sincerely prayed, they remembered the God, they thanked the God, and they started taking the food. So one person came. He came and he sat, and good hospitality was extended to him. He was welcomed and he was put on, I mean, he was made to sit, and food was about to serve. Then this owner, this rich man comes and says, wait, before taking the food, there's a condition. What is the condition? That you have to do prayer for God, then you can start your food. That's the only condition and nothing else. The fellow said, what? Should I pray to God? Is it a condition for the food before taking the food? He said, yes. Then he says, no, but I'm an atheist. I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the existence of God. So you can't force me or you can't ask me to pray to God. I don't believe in God, so I don't pray to God. I mean, he was very honest to himself. And he said that. Then this fellow got a bit angry and announced, get out, you rogue, and you don't believe in God, and I don't want to feed you. I don't want to spend my time and energy with you such people. So get out, he says. The fellow said, okay, since I don't believe in God, because you are giving food, I don't want to pray, which is against my conscience. He says, sorry, and he leaves without taking the food. So that night, this rich devotee who served hundreds of people, he had a dream. In the dream, God expressed his angry, his annoyment. So, being as a devotee, he felt terrified and he was very unhappy, and he apologized and he begged the God's pardon, and he asked the reason for God. Oh, my dear God, why are you angry? I'm a real devotee and I do a lot of prayers. I go to religious places and I serve the people and etc. Then why are you angry about me or with me? Then the God said, look, a particular person came to take the food, but you chased away. Then but he had forgotten. Then he tried to scratch his head. Then he said, yeah, only one person who doesn't believe in you, my dear Lord. He doesn't believe in your existence. That's the reason I chased him. Otherwise, nothing else. Otherwise, I fed hundreds of people. Then the Lord said, yes. Why did you chase him? Oh, because he's an atheist. He doesn't believe in you. God said, whether he believes me or not, why should I have chased you? Because I have taken care of him from so many years in that life, particular life. Then you chased him away and you didn't feed him, and that whole day he had to be full. I mean, poor person. That whole day had to be with hungry. I didn't like it. Then the devotee understood how the God exists in everyone, how God resides in every being, and he should not discriminate. And he asked the pardon from the God. And from next day onwards, or whenever he feeds people, so he used to put never any condition. So whoever comes, the representation of the gods, because God resides in every being. God loves everyone alike. So he also started loving everyone. He also started serving everyone equally. So here, what does it mean? So God resides everywhere in every being. Now, from the point of devotion or the devotional literature, they say that God, the Almighty, the Supreme Self, resides in every being. The same idea has been conveyed from the knowledge point of view, from the Gnana Yoga point of view, that the Atman or the consciousness resides in every being. Not only in every being, everywhere and in everything. So this is what the Vedanta is saying that. So one who doesn't believe that in the existence of self or existence or about oneself, he is called atheist. Fine. So I am the self, and what is it? Okay, I'm the self. So what is the use, and what I am going to get help from it? How do I get benefited? This question may come for all of us. Yes, it should come. So when I say, or when the Upanishads say that I am the self and have the confidence in that, have a faith in that, means I am the self, means self denotes, or self means it is the science of infinite possibilities. So the extension of the Vedanta, it says that there is an infinite energy in you, and you are the embodiment of infinite energy. By using that, you can do anything and everything. So why important is that believe in oneself as a self? What is the corollary from that? If you ask, that is, you can do many things. As Swami Vivekananda says, when you accept that you as an Atman, you as a soul or a self, there is nothing impossible. There is nothing impossible. Everything is possible, he says. And he also says very interestingly that, okay, maybe, but I feel something, I mean, something is possible for me, no doubt. Few things are possible, something is possible, but few things are not possible because that is not my cup of tea. So few things are not possible. If you think so, it is a superstitious. It is superstition, he says. What a grand and what a beautiful idea. If you think that something is possible and something is not possible from you, if you think, it is a superstition. So when I say that I am the self, it is infinite possibilities. I can do anything and everything. So much energy is there in me. That self, that energy, that consciousness, which is so subtle, which is subject, when it is manifested through the body, what happens? It becomes your body, and it becomes, you can build up your muscular, and you can have a six packs, and you can be very strong, and you can go by going to gym or whatever, then you can participate in the boxing or whatever. The same self or the energy or the consciousness, if it is flown through intellect, you can be a wise person, you can be great intellectual, you can be a great scientist, you can be a great philosopher, or you can be a great thinker. Very beautiful ideas, virginal ideas, new innovations, discoveries can come when the self has been, when you manifest the self through intellect. If the same thing is manifested through willpower, you can do many things. I would like to sleep only 5 6 hours, and rest of the time I want to work, and I have to be successful. Yes, with the willpower, you are trying to control your body and mind. You are taming your body and mind, and you can be successful person. Every day, 12 hours, 14 hours I work. Possible. Okay, I want to be a multitasking. So I want to learn languages, I want to learn music, I want to learn art, I want to learn some business. Yes, possible. And the same thing when it is gone through emotions. What happens? Feelings, then you'll become very strong and very composed nature, when you very calm natured person. So you see, the self, when it is manifested at different levels, we get different outputs. So we have to think all these things. That's why Vedanta is telling that, I mean, self, I am the self means it's infinite possibilities. I can become a right person. If you are a sinner, say for an example, and you can be the saint, that possibility is there. And again, the Vedanta says that the Vedanta doesn't recognize the sin at all. Vedanta doesn't recognize the sin. It's just opposite to Christianity. So Vedanta doesn't recognize the sin, and Vedanta doesn't recognize that I am the sinner or you are the sinner, anyone. Fine. There can be some mistakes, there can be some blunders, there can be some evil actions we have done, evil deeds we have done, fine. So, but we have done, and it is in our hands to rectify it or to progress ourselves. That's where the Vedanta says that we are traveling from lower truth to higher truth. But again, beautiful idea, grand idea. We are traveling from lower truth to higher truth. So, what is that lower truth? That I am the body. In middle, I am mind, I am energy, I am intellect. And the highest truth is what? That I am the self. So, the more and more you understand, and the more and more you put into practice, you'll be nearer to the truth, or you'll be nearer to the self, and you'll be nearer to the infinite possibilities. And the same idea has been given in his lecture on practical Vedanta. What is practical? Swamiji, he discusses beautifully. There are two things. If someone wants to say that it is a practical, how? Oh, it is so practical. That means what? It should be it should be possible to put into action. Any idea or theory, when it is possible to put into action, translate into action, that is practical, which can be practiced. So, in saying that, most of us or many of us, he says that we pull down or we bring down the ideal to our level and we say it is very practical. And Swami Vivekananda says that is not the practical, that is not the really, practical. The ideal is so high, the ideal is so pure and it's so high. But I pull down, I bring down that ideal, highest ideal to my level, and you say that this is what the practicality is. And Swami Vivekananda doesn't accept, and he says that ideal can be translated into action. Ideal can be achieved. How much ever far, how much ever higher or highest, that's fine. But it can be reached. It can be made into possibility. That is what is practical according to me. So when I say practical Vedanta, Vedanta can be put into practice. In what way? What is that Vedanta which we are asking to put into practice? That thou art or I am the divine. That is the highest ideal given by the Advaita Vedanta. And that can be practiced, that can be translated into action. That's what Swami Vivekananda says in the sense of practical. Not pulling down the ideal to our level, and it is say that practical level now. Now, what is the first step to practice this Advaita Vedanta or Vedanta, if you ask? Swami Vivekananda says that the first step towards that highest ideal is what? Give up the selfishness and give up the self enjoyment. Self enjoyment means sense enjoyment. Sense gratification. And again, so that means should not we enjoy the world at all? For example, today we have got a beautiful sun, sunny day. We are all of us who are living in Ireland, we're all happy. So we go outside, we enjoy the sun, we have some stroll and all. Should not we have? Yes, you can have all that, no doubt. But what Vedanta mean or what Swami Vivekananda mean that don't limit yourself in mere sense gratification. From day getting up to sleeping, we spend a lot of time in just mere taking care of the body and in mere sense gratification. That should be avoided. We should take care of our body. Good health we should maintain. And once in a while, go there, here and there, enjoy, have a fun, all these things fine. But don't limit yourself in the sense gratification. That's what the Advaita Vedanta is saying. And give up selfishness. Why? If you remember my previous class, I told two stories. And one story is that the prince the prince fell in love with one more princess. And afterwards, he came to know that the portrait of the princess is none other than his own figure. So similarly, selfish means with only I will be there, and we will separate myself from everyone else. So I only want, and I'm not caring for others. So that is not right. Because when the self or that consciousness is only one, it is manifested with so many people, then I can't be selfish. So we have to narrow down, or we have to reduce the selfishness, and we have to increase the unselfishness. By doing that, what happens? We are able to see, or we are able to experience, or we are able to recognize the divinity in every being and in every self. And now the question may come for all of us. Swamiji, you said that Vedanta says that I am the divine or I am the self, and which is infinite possibilities. And according to the Vedanta, what is superstition? If you say something is possible for me and something is not possible for me, that is superstition. Then how is it? But because all our experience is, yes, I can do some work, but I cannot do all the work. So how can you say that it is a superstition? Swami Vivekananda gives a beautiful analysis for that. He says that, he explains our fact. The fact is we have put our hands on our eyes and we have closed it, and we are saying that there is a darkness. There is no actual darkness. Only we have closed our eyes, or we have put our both hands on our eyes, and we are saying that there is a dark, there is a dark, there is a dark. So remove your hands, open your eyes, and you see there is a light. So similarly, a veil of ignorance is covering about your mind. A veil of ignorance is covering on your mind that I am weak, I am low, it is not possible for me. This is possible, that is not possible, etc., etc. And we have limited ourselves, we have narrowed down ourselves. That is what Swami Vivekananda says, that we have been hypnotized. We have been hypnotized that I am the body, I am the mind, I am the intellect, I am the thought, or I am so and so. I can work only this much. I can do this much only. Like that, we have been limited ourselves by hypnotized. What is this hypnotizing? Thinking the same thing time and again, time and again, time and again. For an example, when the child is born, the child doesn't know who is he or what is he. So now father or mother started calling him John, 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 John. Then because the society or the people in and around him, they're calling him as a John, then he understands that, okay, I'm the John. So he started thinking that I am the John, I am the John, I am the John. And after some time, when if someone rebukes about the John, immediately he reacts. Why? He has been hypnotized as a John. Now, well, for transaction, this body has been named as a John. This body is named as Shantivratananda, fine. But don't limit yourself. We need this transactional reality, fine. But why are you limiting yourself? That's what Vedanta is saying. We have got a body, but we are not body. We have got a mind, but we are not mind. I mean, interestingly, today one devotee or aspirant had come. He was saying, Swami, today I'm so happy. I'm so happy means my mind is so nice. I'm feeling happy. I'm love, happiness and good spirit and all. But yesterday, I don't know. I was down so much. How much ever I tried, I couldn't come out. Why is it happening, Swami? And with all sincerity, he was speaking. I said, fine. So now you are saying today you are fine and you are your mind is nice, you are with full of spirit or whatever, and yesterday you were down. Yes. Then asked, who was down yesterday and who is again better today? Then he scratched his head, said, today I'm better and yesterday I was not better. Then I said, fine, you think little more. Then he thought. At least it took few moments and now I understand from your lecture. My mind is down yesterday. Then he said, yes, you have got the right thing. Your mind was down yesterday. So still particularly your feelings, because of the feelings or emotions or whatever, or ego or whatever. So your mind was down yesterday and today your mind is in good condition. So your condition of your mind is better today and your condition of mind was not good yesterday. Yes. So first and foremost, we have to understand this. After understanding, then what happens? The mind is an instrument for all of us. Just like we have got a mobile to talk, we have got a watch to see the time, we have got a vehicle as an instrument for our transportation, for traveling. Similarly, mind is an instrument given by the God or the nature. So use it as an instrument, then there are variations in the mind, never mind, but you will not be the victim of it. But we attach ourselves to the mind, and whatever the limitations of the mind, we take and we suffer. This is what Swami Vivekananda is saying. We are hypnotized. For example, the other Indian in India, this standard example is given all the time. We are using a goggle, and goggle was, there was a yellow layer was there on the goggle, on the spectacles. Then we wear that, and we are seeing the world with the whole world as an yellowish. So I am thinking that I am body, I am thinking that mind, I am thinking that feelings or emotions. And when the body is down, body has got fever, and I am thinking that I am not well. And a body is not well. It is not that I am not well. My emotions are down today. That doesn't mean that I am down. My mind or emotional part of my mind is down. Isn't it? Oh, today I'm not able to think at all. My mind is blocked. I am not blocked. My mind is blocked. My mind is unable to process the information for some reason. So when you start seeing this, then there will be enough energy. Okay, for example, there is a problem in your vehicle. You don't keep on crying, oh, my vehicle has got problem, my vehicle has got problem. No. Then you say, oh, you'll call to the mechanic and say, there's a problem in vehicle. I will bring, let me set it. Can you help me in setting right? Then, okay, you take to the mechanic, and mechanic, he puts into the mission and he finds out where is the error or mistake, and he puts it, he sets it all right, and you pay him and you bring him back. You bring it back. You are not morose, you are not unhappy, or you are not getting affected from that, because you know that vehicle, it is an external to you, and it is an instrument for your traveling. So similarly, when you start seeing your body and mind, you as a separate, when you start experiencing them as an instrument, then you can do beautifully. For that, what is the way out? Swami Vivekananda says that dehypnotize yourself. You have been hypnotized yourself as a body and mind and intellect, or I am so and so about profession or about the relationships. We have been hypnotized. Start thinking, dehypnotizing yourself. How to dehypnotize? Start thinking time and again, which is the fact that I am the self. I am the self. I'm not the body. I am not the mind. I am the self. I have a body. I am not the body. I have a mind. I am not the mind. I have a intellect or faculty of the mind which is to think, but I am not the intellect. Again, the one more function of the mind, I have got feelings. Again, I have feelings, but I am not the feelings. So yes, I am so and so, I am so and so, and I am doing so many things and all fine, but all of them has been done by body and mind or whatever. But I as the self is the witness of all these things. So when you can be separate from this and when you start working, there's a beautiful state that is. Then what happens? As Buddha says, that this too shall pass, can be implemented, can be practiced. By that, what happens? So Vivekananda tells your mind gets composed. Again, you will not get composed. Your mind will be in composed nature. Again, mark my words. You are unaffected. Your mind is not unaffected. Your mind is not affected. Then what happens? Swami Vivekananda says, your energy is saved. Your lot of energy is saved. So your lot of energy is saved, and you can use that energy. Again, you can use your that energy for the constructive things. And that's where Swami Vivekananda says. Swami Vivekananda says, all the great people who have achieved the greatest success in the life or who have created history, they are of generally they are of composed nature. They don't get easily agitated. They don't get easily disturbed, and they don't bother for too many things or too small things, because they have higher things to achieve and they keep on working for it because they are much calmer. So this is what we have to understand. And there's an interesting story. When we are discussing all these things, we may think that whether is this all these things are possible, all these things are can be experienced. Yes. So Vivekananda says that yes. And there's an interesting story. One of the senior monk who was living in Brindavan way back. His name is Swami Jagadananji. He was living in Brindavan hospital after his retirement. He was quite old that time. And he translated actually that Sri Ramakrishna's great master, which was in Bengali, to the English is the person. Of course, now Swami Chidananji also has retranslated into English version, that is Divine Play. But earlier it is a Ramakrishna great master. He did that. It was a great saint, no doubt. And he was the greatest karma yogi also. A lot of, so for long years, for long hours, he had done a lot of service. Apart from that, he used to do meditation also, of course. Now he was retired and he was quite aged, old. One fine day, he came to know, because of his spiritual power or whatever, he came to know that my life, end has come to my life. Now you see, he had got spiritual power. He could have used probably to extend his life. He didn't, first and foremost. Second thing, his mind is not disturbed. Oh, it is not that I am going to somewhere. He's saying he is supposed to die. He's supposed to leave this mortal coil. So he has come to know that, okay, death is nearing. In few moments, I will leave the body. So his mind is not agitated, which is the fear of death, abhinivesha, we say in Sanskrit, which is the greatest fear for all of us. So even when the death has approached him and he is understanding that in few moments he is going to leave the body, but his mind is not agitated. His mind is calm. His mind is composed. And not only that, he calls his sevakar, the brahmachari who was serving him. He says, come on, bring the Upanishad book. And you start reading the Upanishad or chant the Upanishad slokas, Upanishad hymns for me. And brahmachari, he didn't understand why, but just as obedient person, he brought and he started reading the Upanishad. Then Jagadanji is sitting with closed eyes and is just hearing the Upanishadic slokas. And he makes a comment that, yes, I am feeling all of these things and I'm experiencing this truth. What is that Upanishad is saying? Whatever the Upanishadic truths or Upanishadic truth, whatever is there, I am experiencing it, he says, and while experiencing, he left his mortal coil without any pain or whatever. So, by practicing the Vedanta, by dehypnotizing oneself, what can be achieved? When the death approached him, he welcomed like a guest. And not only that, he says that he was listening to Upanishadic shlokas and he says that, yes, I'm experiencing all of them, and he left his mortal coil. So, this is what one can achieve. So, by Vedanta, one can attain composed nature and one can be the greatest, busiest person even in the life. For example, Sri Krishna, he was the greatest Advaita Vedantin or a greatest Vedantin, and he was a kingmaker, and so much work he did, and but still he had a very calm mind. Now, when I say Krishna's example, immediately our mind thinks, "Oh, Swami is a god, is an incarnation. Oh, it is possible for him, and but for us and all difficult." But there are so many people. We can take so many examples like this. It is possible either for monks and brahmacharis. Probably this question, probably Swamiji anticipated as a common folk. Oh, people say that, oh, like there are prophets, which is possible for them. They are special people. It is possible for them. Incarnations, of course, they are the cream of the, what do you say, manifestation. It is possible. Okay, monks and mendicants, they don't have anything else. Their life is dedicated for that. Yeah, they're putting into practice Vedanta. Okay, it is admirable for it. Okay, for them, there is nothing, no other work. It is possible. But we have got a lot of responsibilities. We have got a lot of work, and we have got so many things to do, etc., etc. So, is it possible for us also? This question may come for all of us, and it should come. And Swami Vivekananda gives a beautiful answer for this. Probably in one of my Vedantic lecture, first lecture of practical Vedanta, I told. He tells the Vedanta, the Vedanta was explored and it was given to society not by monks, not by incarnations, not by prophets at the beginning. Rather, it was from the kings or from the busiest people in the world, monarchs. For example, in those days, in the olden days, monarchs were the busiest people in the world, and they had to take care so many responsibilities. For example, when we are working in an institution, we have got some work basically, and we'll be working that. But king cannot be. He has got a minister, he's got a, I mean, commander and a guide people, all of them fine. But he has to look into the entire state. He can be one of the busiest person in the world, and but the Advaita Vedanta or the Vedanta came from the busiest people in the life or in the world. So that means what? Swami Vivekananda is telling again once more that Vedanta can be practiced at all circumstances in all walks of life. That's why it is practical. So Vedanta, it is not that okay. I've kept my time, morning half an hour, evening half an hour, then I will practice Vedanta in that time. Other times, no, because I'm busy. No. Or okay, when my mind is calm or when I'm quiet, I will practice Vedanta. No. Okay, now my mind is agitated. I went so many things, nothing happened. I think Vedanta by practicing, mind becomes calm, it seems. So when I'm in trouble, many people, when we're in trouble, we go to God. Otherwise, we forget the God. Like that, no. So when you are in trouble, when your mind is agitated, I will take Vedanta. Afterwards, I'll forget it. No. So Vedanta has to be practiced, and it can be practiced at all given point of times. Whether you are drinking or sleeping, working, eating, meditating, or whatever, at all times it can be practiced and it can be achieved. It is a way of life. That way, from this point, Swami Vivekananda is saying that it is a practical. Then he says that the moment when you understand this greater truth, what happens? When you start manifesting this divinity, you can achieve what not. So when you start thinking, the question comes, how is it? How is it? For simple example, for an example, when I was thinking this, how I got the one more analysis that, for an example, there is a scar or there's a cut on your skin. Fine, there can be big pain. It may take 2 or 3 days to just heal it. Then once there was a deep cut, which there was a cut on your muscles, basically. There's a bleeding, and you put some cleaning with a Dettol, and you had put some a band-aid or some ointment or whatever. It might take 5-6 days, or it may be week to completely heal. Fine. And there is a cut in your nerve, for example. It will take more time to heal, and the pain will be very intense actually. There may not be even bleeding. There not be any big cut even. Even if there can be very small cut, but still if there's a cut on your nerve, it will take more time to heal. Now, if there is a hairline fracture, which is on your bone basically, that will take few months sometimes, or it can be a few years also for the healing. Now you see, the more and more the grasser, the healing also becomes fast. That's the one thing. And the more and more you go go inside, the strength is also more actual. With a muscular power, you can do many things. Now, when compared to muscles, the nerves are much tiny, but they are very powerful. If your nerve currents are strong, you can do many things. Even you are physically weak, but if your nerves are strong, you can do many things. And similarly with the bones, or similarly with your brain, similarly with the intellect, or whatever. The more and more it becomes subtle, the manifestation of the energy and the achievements you can do is much more. For example, specially able people. One cannot see, probably has got a blind, and some cannot hear, or someone has got some limb, or a particular organ like hand or a leg or whatever. It doesn't work. But still, if they have got strong willpower, then they're good achievers. Whereas we have got everything is in intact our body, but we were not achievers. So the more and more things becomes subtle, and the manifestation of energy becomes more. The more and more things become grosser, the manifestation of energy is also getting narrowed down. So when you start experiencing the self, whatever the limitations, whatever the obstacles are there, everything gets diminished, everything gets reduced. So the more and more you become subtle, the more and more you become subtle, whatever I mean, your understanding that I, if it starts from body to the mind, body to the intellect, intellect to the self, then the problems or the obstacles also keeps reducing, keeps reducing, keeps reducing. And based on this, Swamiji brings a one more interesting point: work-life balance. We all speak today of work-life balance and all. So how can we balance our work? We have to reduce, you see, for 6 to 8 hours or 10 hours. Yeah, 8 hours work, 1 or 2 hours of housework, and rest of the time I have to spend 1 or 2 hours personal work, and I have to sleep to 6 8 hours. Like that, we have got our own calculations, or even doctors also says, fine, it is a good, we should do it, no doubt. So that's what it is, work-life balance. We speak generally. So we have to give enough time to your personal things, personal care, and enough time to family, enough time to society, and enough time to profession. So we have to basically manage all of them. This is what work-life balance, more or less, we speak. But the Vedanta says, or Swami Vivekananda says, or he echoes the Vedanta, intense activity combined with eternal calmness. That calmness which cannot be ruffled, the balance of mind which is never disturbed, whatever may happen. You are intensely active. You are so busy. You are working maybe 12 hours, 16 hours, 18 hours, or whatever. So you are intensely active. But at the same time, you are calm. Calm, not few moments. Or calm for few moments, or few hours, or few days, or few weeks. No, eternal calmness. Intense activity with eternal calmness. And that calmness cannot be ruffled, and the balance of mind which is never disturbed, whatever may happen. This is what the outcome of the corollary of the practical Vedanta, or the theism. The moment when you understand, the moment when you accept that I am the self, then what happens? You can be intensely active and still you will not get disturbed. Why? He's saying that because the moment when you start thinking, when you start experiencing that you are the self, then there are no obstructions for you at all. When you are thinking body and mind, you are attached to your body and mind. So many likes and dislikes, so many, your mind is colored with passions. Your mind is colored with likes and dislikes. Your mind is colored with so many narrow thinking. Because of that, lot of energy is getting oozed out. Lot of energy is getting wasted. That's why he says, less passion, the better we can work. Less mind is disturbed, the more we can work. The more and more you are calm, it is better for you, and you can do much better. The more calm you can do, much better that we can understand. He says, less passion, less desire, you can work better. Less desire, you can work better. Why? Because the desires has got a, because we all think that desire is a fuel. I mean, which is a motivating, it is a motivation for us. Without desire, why should we work? Or how can we work? Generally, yes, with a desire, it works as a catalyst force or fuel for us to work. At the same time, it narrows down our energy. Our lot of energy is wasted. So instead of that, if you got a less desires or less passions, you can work better. You can achieve to the greater heights according to the Vedanta and according to the Swami. And he also gives a one more very practical analysis. He brings a one more practical analysis. For an example, oh, I have done a lot of work. I mean, I'm, what do you say? I'm putting the Swamiji's words in my own words. You say that I'm working for long hours, 10, 12 hours. Definitely we get drained out, or we feel little weak, and we feel difficulty. We need rest and all, no doubt. There is a physical exertion in our works, in every action. You are working in a profession, teaching profession, you are working in a sweeping, or you are working in a mall. In any type of work, physical work also includes, which brings some, I mean, which brings, what do you say, tiredness, and which you need rest, no doubt. Physical exertion is there. So Swami Vivekananda is in that because of the physical exertion, you need some rest. That's fine. It is acceptable. It is a biology. It is a nature of your body. But most of the times we get tired. It is not the physical exertion. It is the mental exertion, he says. What does it mean? Physical exertion and mental exertion. Now, whole day, 6 to 8 hours, you are cleaning your room, cleaning the curtains, and sweeping, mopping, and arranging things, and etc. etc. So, 6 to 8 hours you did physical work. So, there isn't some exertion. Now, you are telling your children, for example, in a family, for example, I'm telling children, please keep the things in the right place, in right way, and all. They don't listen. And I tell my husband, he also doesn't listen. I tell XYZ, no one listens. And I'm feeling uneasiness, and I'm feeling getting dejected from all these things. But what to do? It is my house finally. It is my family. I have to accept, and I have to keep on doing it. Now, as a human being, we are all human beings, we respond, I mean, we react and never mind. But it is a human thing, but you are doing all this work. Just for an example, as objectively, if you have done this all this work, some exertion is done. Exertion happens, no doubt. But now your mind is reacting there. I tell my children, they don't listen. I tell my husband, they don't listen. I tell X, Y, Z, they're not listening. I have to do everything like that. With the dejective mode, with that reactive mode, you are doing the same work. When you are done objectively the same amount of work, and with that reactive mode, when you do the same work, then your draining out of your energy is much more, and you will feel exhausted. Even someone gives, even make a cup of tea, just a black tea, even it will be difficult for you. You have exhausted. Many times we feel, oh, I've done a lot of work and I've exhausted. It is not of because of amount of work, or it is not of amount of physical exertion, it is of mental exertion. That's where Swami Vivekananda is saying, the more and more you keep your mind calm, then the oozing of energy, wasting of energy will be reduced, and your nerves doesn't get tired easily, and your mind doesn't get tired easily, and you can do much more things. So that's where Vedanta helps you. So when you stay at the level of ideas, when you stay at the level of self, then you can do things better. That's what I have seen in my own teacher with our own Gurudev. He used to read hours together, and he used to do a lot of work also. How it is possible? Because their mind is concentrated. So their mind is not distracted. Since their mind is concentrated, they can do work fast, they can do work things better. That's the one point. Second, when they start, they leave at the level of the ideas, when they leave at the level of self, then the again energy loss will be minimal. So, for example, someone scolded, or some because of cold, or because of heat, and because of some body problems, no problem at all for them. They don't cry, they don't get morose, they don't get disturbed. So, because of there are no so many upheavals in emotions, so again that wastage of energy is also reduced. For example, I think I've told you this story also. He was 95 or 9, I think around 96, 98. He was on bed, and he was not well, and IV fluids are going, nasal feeding is going on, and parameters to check so many, pipes have been introduced in the body, and he's lying down, and his own lectures, which few years before he gave, that has been transcribed, and one young brahmachari is reading, and is listening, and is correcting wherever there are mistakes, and somewhere he's improving also. See, at the age of 96, 98, he's lying on the bed, and in few days he's supposed to leave his mortal coil, and is listening, and is clearing things, or is guiding things. And the general secretary, one more Maharaj, one more monk goes and he asks, Swami, how are you? He says, I am okay. Doctors want to do something, they are doing. I am okay. You see, at that fragment of the life, at that ripened age, obviously body will have its own problems. Never mind, it is understandable, it is a natural, but still he didn't get dejected. He was not morose. He never felt weak. That same tremendous energy, it was there in him. Probably his body would not have maintained that. That's fine. It as a naturally his body had its own limitations probably, but he didn't, as a spirit, as a energy level was nowhere less, even because of his age. That's what we can see. So angry can reduce our work, reduce our problem. Reduce our thinking and our emotions and our desires and selfishness. All these things, it narrows down, it narrows down, it narrows down our thinking. It narrows down our personalities. It narrows down our energies. Then our achievements also becomes lesser. And for the same achievement, we may have to use a lot of energy. We have to use a lot of time. We have to use a lot of many things. But whereas the more and more you get unselfish, the more and more you get refined, the more and more you get integrity in your nature, integrity in your personality, then the progress will be very quicker. That's the reason why the Vedanta says that the person who doesn't believe in himself, self confidence, you can say, he is an atheist. The person who believes in himself is an atheist. Now, that statement is simple. But what is the corollary of it? What is the takeaway message from that? Is the moment I say that I am the self, and I've got that confidence that I am the self, that self, in the Atman or consciousness, which gives which gives way or path to signs of infinite possibilities. The same self or that energy, if it has been put down to the towards art, you can be a great artist. And if the same thing put in the science field, you can be the great scientist. And if you can put that same energy through your mind in the business field, you can be the great business person. In spite of doing all these things, one can exist in oneself, that I am that self, and even can be experienceable. That's where beautifully Nivedita puts in her introduction to complete works. After reading Swami Vivekananda's teachings, hearing to his teaching, what happens? Henceforth, there is no distinction between sacred and secular. To labor is to pray. So there is no difference between labor and to pray. Work and worship, work as worship, work is worship. Already we have discussed in the previous talk. So the moment when you can understand that self, when you can put into practice, when you can manifest it more and more, all the works, becomes a worship for you, and you try to manifest your divinity, and you will try to experience that divinity. That is what the goal of Vedanta. Now, the one probably doubt may come for all of us. Swamiji, it is all true, but it is very difficult. It is highest ideal. It is very high ideal. It is very difficult. This is standard answer. Standard expression we get from many of us, including me. Then I always say, yes, it is very difficult. But there is a comma. There is not full stop. So don't forget that. It is very difficult, full stop. No, it is very difficult, comma, but possible. It is very difficult, not stop, it is a comma, so but possible. So this highest ideal is possible for every one of us, and it can be practiced at all given times. And there is no discrimination between genders or religion or ethnicity or caste or country or anyone. Anyone and everyone can put this Vedanta into practice, and one can experience the self, one can live happily, peacefully at all given circumstances. And basically, in the modern language, if you want me to say, the science, the spiritual science, which is Vedanta, by practicing, we can explore and infinite possibilities. When you understand, when you put into practice, what happens you will be the contributor personality. One is the self-development, and I can be contribute something to society. Palpitably, one can contribute to society. That's what we can see. In all the great people, great Vedantins, they contributed to the society in different places. Some are because some are made up famous, and some are become very silently. They might have worked, and they have created a big waves, huge waves in the society. So may that Almighty bless us, or let us remember, let us think more and more that I as a self, and let us have that confidence in that, so that we can, experience and manifest that divinity in all our walks of life, so that we can live happily, peacefully at all given times, at all given circumstances. World will not change, things may not change, people in and around may not change, but you will be that change. That's what we can say from Vedanta. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.